How's everyone doing? All right, we have stuff to go over. Update. Good. Russell, how was the move? Also, thank you so much for the sub. You know what? You didn't get a thing because my thing needs a new token, right? Let me do that right now while we're waiting for people to filter in for the news. Dude, moving in 1 week, I applaud you. Congratulations. Excellent. How are you liking it? I hope you're liking it. Minus the internet. Minus not having the world's best internet at your fingertips. It's better than what I have. So, like, you take some, like, is it better than what Merrick has? Then you're good. Like, you're solid. So, I was hoping to do some stuff on Wednesday. Oh my gosh. I told you guys I was having a procedure done and like I had off work. My arms hurt. Is it a potato hour in my network? Yeah. Fair. I can't argue. I can't argue with that. What really aggravates me is I'm really, really close to having fiber. I'm like really close. Like, I'm really close to having really good internet. And I don't. And that I think that makes it like if no one close to me had good internet, I'd be like, okay, I get it. But if you go across the street and one house down, which is further than probably you're across the street and one house down, but like across the street, one house down, they have fiber. I don't. Is 120 inches? I think we would measure it in feet. I think we would measure it in feet. Would be my guess. Yeah, it's too far away for inches, right? Inches are roughly your guys' centimeters. It's a little bit more than a centimeter, like a little more than double a centimeter. But like you use centimeters for the same thing you'd use inches for. This would definitely be in the decameters. You definitely want to use decameters, which none of you use. So I guess you would use centimeters, which is weird. Or meters. I suppose meters would work here. We probably wouldn't use yards. I feel like the only time in the United States you use yards is when you're measuring the volume of concrete. I believe that's the only time you use yards in the United States. I do believe. Yeah, that's actually the only time I've ever used yards was when ordering concrete. You order it by the cubic yard. Football fields. Those are in yards, aren't they? I think those are yards, yeah. So I guess football and okay. Could you get more American? Football and yeah. I don't know. We're probably like 500 feet away from fiber. It might be a little bit more than that, like maybe 1,000 feet, like across the road and one neighbor down, so maybe about 1,000 feet, so roughly 300 yards or 300 meters if I had to convert it roughly off of my head. About 300 meters away is fiber. The cheeseburgers per yard? Well, that really depends on who's making the cheeseburger. If these are like McDonald's cheeseburger, a lot more fit into a yard, okay? Than like a real cheeseburger. Do we have an ISO cheeseburger standard? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't get more American than that, than having a ISO cheeseburger standard. Absolutely. There's a lot of regulations around our cheeseburgers, just a lot of them. We take them seriously. Where's your reply? Oh. Oh. I replied. So, one, I had a minor procedure done on my arm this week, so I was a little out of it. I guess maybe I looked at it because it didn't say that there was new messages from you, Toggle. But I don't remember that. So I'm sorry. I will actually respond to that later. So yeah, I had a minor procedure on Tuesday, and I was like, I'm so gonna vibe code some stuff because I'm gonna feel like it on Wednesday. I had Tuesday and Wednesday off, and I was like, I'm gonna stream something on Tuesday because, you know, minor procedure. My arms hurt so much. So for all of you, it's called tennis elbow because I guess tennis players get it. I developed tennis elbow, and I've been on some treatment plans trying to treat it, and none of the prior treatment plans actually successfully worked. And so we kind of went with the nuclear option to fix the tennis elbow because we were working on like 2 months, and my arms have hurt to like do a lot of stuff. And so we went with this procedure. I have to tell you, if they tell you they are going to inject fluids into your elbows, and I don't care if this is medicine and that it's going to help, and in the end it's a good thing, it is going to hurt. It's going to hurt a whole lot. So like literally, because they injected fluids here, like doing this with my fingers hurt. Just like it would send shockwaves up my arm. Amazingly painful. I've had worse pain, but the fact that like you can't even move your fingers without pain is like a psychological pain in itself. You know, like a lot of times when I have pain, like there's like things you can do to alleviate it or figure out how to do things a different way. But like the fact is you can't move your arms without pain. You can't move your fingers without pain. There are things that you just had to do that would hurt. I did not stream on Wednesday. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I didn't do it. Streaming is pain. So I also can't play the piano for a week. I can't play the piano, period. Streaming is pain. Thankfully, we all agree on one thing. Whoa. Okay, come up here. Say hi. Come up here and say hi. Good girl. You come say hi. And then you're going to leave us alone, right? Yeah, you're going to say hi and leave us alone? Oh, you're going to bite me? Yeah, you are, aren't you? I was in a meeting this week, and usually while I work, she just lays behind me. And she bit me like really hard right on the side during the middle of this meeting. Like, I guess she had gotten up and I guess I had been ignoring her or something. It was super surprising. I rocketed out of my chair. I was like, what happened? Oh, it's just you. It's just you. Anyways, he likes her attention. Is it the act of streaming or dealing with chat, though? You know, I would have to say that I really like my chat, so it has to be the act of streaming, right? That's what I would have to say. I haven't been bribed to say that for sure. Yeah, if I had it, Russell. If I had it. I don't carry those things around my desk. She doesn't usually do that either. I don't know why she didn't me. I mean, I took her outside. I figured maybe she actually had to go to the bathroom. But all right. Should we get into the news? You should always have one on you. I know. I make a lot of rookie mistakes, as chat likes to point out. I make a lot of rookie mistakes. Like when a doctor looks you in the eye and says, "You're going to hate me tomorrow," Like, just, they didn't say the word pressure. They didn't say any of the classic things that you know and understand the lingo. When he tells you you're going to hate me tomorrow, take his word for it. You're gonna hate, you're gonna curse his name, because my goodness, your arms are on fire. It's a real thing. Anyways, I'm gonna take it light today on the typing and stuff. I thought maybe after we cover the news, we'll cover a little bit of, I did a little bit of reading on Cursor 2.0. I'm going to cover that in the news today. I know it was released last weekend as well, but as I had said, I hadn't had enough time to cover it. And we might use Cursor 2.0 to try to do some stuff and see if it's any good. If it's worth a major version. This is a marketing version. So, I mean, again, what does 2.0 mean? It really just is a marketing thing. So, but I'm going to take it light on the typing. Just still recovering. So, alrighty. Let's get into it. There wasn't actually a ton of things in the news this week. I want to thank you all for joining me. I always enjoy covering these topics and discussing the software engineering news and tech news with you all each week. It's actually one of the things I look forward to on the weekends, is getting to see your all's perspective on some of these things as we go through it. And yeah, there wasn't a ton of things, but a few things that I wanted to cover with you all, get your perspective, and I'll give you a little bit of my perspective. The first thing we're going to cover, just to kind of get it out of the way, is some of the AI news that was released. I know that that's been like the last year of news is just AI things. I do have some things not related to AI that we will be covering in a little bit, although actually a lot of the stuff is AI at least adjacent, but hopefully you'll find it interesting and or informative or helpful. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was NVIDIA launching some open models and data to accelerate AI and innovation. Well, we can talk about their motive. You know, their motive here is to accelerate AI and innovation, but we could talk about what the real motivation. I don't know what the real motivation is, but this is cool, and especially the data. So a lot of times I talk about supply chain attacks starting with the data. And if you're trying to do something small, I actually think these open source data that you can go and access, and NVIDIA is not the only person that has these. There's also MIT and some other ones that have large sets of data that you can leverage. So if you're trying to do some of your own stuff, there's a lot of different places you can get these, and NVIDIA just released their own. Now, I'm not saying that their data isn't subjugated to a supply chain attack either, but at least if you're a small single person or a small company, this gives you access to some data that is of higher repute than just scraping some off of the internet. So anyways, I think that this is really cool. The open models, I don't know that much about the open models that they released. These were a lot about robotics. And so there was a lot of different robotic type models that they released. They may be really interesting. I haven't leveraged them yet or anything. So I could really only tell you what NVIDIA themselves said about them. Yeah, that's actually a really good take, Toggle. I'm really looking for GPTs and things like this to do more than be leveraged to generate text or images or video. I think that, as in many things, we get hyper focused on a single thing and we throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've said this before, and this has been my take and continues to be my take, is it's very much like blockchain technology. There's actually some really cool things blockchain technology does. And in fact, GitHub or Git is based off of blockchain technology, right? I have a video proving that, but That being said, I think that's happening here as well. We look at the shiny, flashy thing, the thing that we can sell investors, the thing that we can do that. And again, we're kind of losing what it's really good at. I've said security for a long time. We're actually going to talk about how there's some stuff with security coming out. It's something I've said for a very long time. A sufficiently advanced statistical analysis machine is just really good at looking for anomalies, something you want to do in security. And so I think that there's other areas where you'd want a sufficiently advanced statistical anomaly detection, other than just security, that would help drive innovation. We could look at stuff where there's just tons of data, like seismic data on the Earth's crust. There could be something that we could see and understand better, but there's so much data that we need some sort of really large, sufficiently advanced statistical anomaly detection that would help us filter out that data into the interesting data. So I think that there's so many really cool things to this. I hope that we don't go down the blockchain route. Again, I can go into where I think blockchain... There's actually, I think, very legitimate uses of blockchain other than scams, rug pulls, and Ponzi schemes. And we could do that. But, I mean, yeah, anyways. So, yeah. One second, I'm going to go close my door, and then I'm going to answer and then I'm going to respond to you. This winter, I cannot wait to get back into the gulag. So the house has a really high ceiling. So it's actually going to allow me to build a fake ceiling. So I'm actually isolated. So I can put insulation between the ceiling of my room and the floor and be actually isolated from the chaos that can ensue inside of my house. It's going to be amazing for work as well as streaming. But yeah, the thing is, yeah, it's a bit disheartening when the only thing being used these days is degrading art and culture. I saw a video earlier today where the guy looked at an image and said, "Oh, maybe this is AI." Right. I think that's actually a major issue with AI. People like Sam Altman like to talk about how companies always want to do this. I'll pick on Sam Altman because he happens to be the person to pick on right now, but all companies try to do this. They like to paint their technology in the best light possible, right? That's kind of part of their prerogative. And so, like, I'm not going to wholly blame them. I'm also not going to blame them for how their technology is leveraged, because you'll give somebody a stick and you don't know what they're going to do with it. So there's a lot that goes into that. And the one thing that I want to say is, like, I haven't seen a whole lot of the life-changing things for people for the better. That's like what I'd love to see happen, where it's like, here's an actual thing that's actually helping people do something that is awesome. I've seen a little bit of it with the AI stuff, or possibly some of it with the AI stuff. I just can't say that I've seen a ton of it yet. Are you saying that Sam is gaslighting us? Like I said, I pick on Sam probably more than I pick on some of the other ones, just because Sam is the one that's currently in the spotlight. Before this, I picked on Steve Jobs. I picked on, like, I just want to make it clear that everybody does this to a certain degree. I think the term brain rot, the thing that we have taken on as the term brain rot, is a serious problem. I think that it started well before AI, though. Just to be clear, I think while AI might encourage that, I think the whole brain rot thing is a real thing. And I think that it's something we need to address. I don't know how to address it. Pure ML is helping us with new medical and material discoveries. Like I said, Russell, I do think that's what I was getting at, where you're using it for the statistical anomaly. When you look at those papers, and they're like, hey, AI did this, and then you actually dig into the paper, and it's like there was a team of engineers that used mathematical statistical analysis models to do something, to refine something, to come up with a conclusion. I actually absolutely agree with you. It is actually improving materials and things like that. And there are medical discoveries that have come from this. 1000% But that is not what we refer to when we refer to AI in general. Also, I dislike the term of AI, because when you look at it, all they're leveraging it for is a sufficiently advanced statistical analysis machine. Every single time it does something really cool and useful, that's what it's doing. And I think calling it AI is more the term of the season. Why did that's right? If AI had, like, this is proof that I'm not AI, right? If I was just artificial intelligence, I wouldn't have so many defects. I wouldn't say all the time in my speech. I would use 2 spaces after a period. My writing would not be so misspelled. Okay? I would use bigger and fancier words. Right now, I keep my vocabulary to 6 characters and under. And I still can't do Wordle. Like, I can't think of 5-letter words. It's really 6-letter words and 4-letter words. That's my whole vocabulary, not 5-letter words. So, all right, let's talk about the next little bit of MCP news. Now, I am a huge be careful with MCP servers type of person. If you know anything that I've said, everything that I've said is that I have not seen a successful launch of an MCP server that has not been a security and data nightmare. From data being permanently deleted, hopefully you use the 333 backup plan, from data being permanently deleted to data being permanently leaked, which is actually worse than it getting deleted and you have to restore from a backup. So I say this as, if you'd like to use it, cool. But also, be careful. Be careful. I think MCP servers have a possible interesting future. I don't know what that possible interesting future is, but I know that it's dangerous. Today, and by today, I actually mean November 6th, so a couple days ago, 2 days ago, on Thursday, because Thursday is the premium time to release something. It's not Friday, but it's close to the weekend. Byant, I don't know, Bayuant, I don't know how to pronounce their name, to be honest. If they'd like to tell me, they are more than welcome to tell it, but I'm going to call them Bayuant for right now. let us know that the Model Context Protocol MCP server in LinkerD is getting put into LinkerD. So if you were trying to do a service mesh, which is already difficult, and you wanted to plug in an MCP traffic through your Kubernetes environment with LinkerD, it is getting put into LinkerD. So you should be able to do that. I think this is actually something that you guys might be able to leverage. I know that I put a lot of pretense into be really careful with this because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen this shoot people so in the... See, not AI. Can't even... Like, you give me a context long enough and I just can't finish the sentence. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people strap on a foot gun and then immediately shoot themselves in the foot with this right here. So be very, very, very careful with your MCP servers. But if you are trying to do that and you use LinkerD, this is really cool. So go for it. Wonder if Microsoft uses AI with MCP servers to configure front door. Oh my gosh. Russell, you weren't here last week. You weren't here last week when we covered Microsoft's front door outage. I know that you complain about front door all the time, and I know that you were moving. So, like, no worries. I just thought it was hilarious. The one day I made fun of front door for a good little time. Anyways. So yeah, there you go. LinkerD. Go check it out if you're using LinkerD. I like LinkerD for a lot of reasons. It's a simpler service mesh. If you need a service mesh is a lot of overhead. If you don't need a service mesh, don't use a service mesh. But if you need a service mesh, go out and check out LinkerD. It's the worst door. It might as well be out. Yeah. So another thing that happens when we have big tech is we design by fashion instead of engineering. And it's something that I really rage about. If you're going to call yourself a software engineer, you need to engineer. And one of the big things about that is something I call stop designing by fashion. And it means stop picking the newest thing to solve your current problem. Solve your current problem with the best solution for your current problem. I think Google might have just open sourced a bit of designing by fashion. But you let me know what you think. Google open source blog announcing Magika 1.0, now faster, smarter, and rebuilt in Rust. Now, I'm not going to talk about Rust because that's not designing by fashion. That's designing for speed, brilliance, safety, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's not about that. What is Magika and what does it solve? Well, early last year, we open sourced Magika, Google's AI-powered file type detection system. Do we really need AI to detect file types? That's the question here. I feel like this is something that is better achieved without AI. I feel like this is something that is better solved without AI for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things that you could do here that I don't think require AI. And this is what I mean by designing by fashion. You see that Google solved a problem using service meshes. And then you decide that every problem is a service mesh problem and you can solve the same problems. But you don't actually have the exact same problem Google does. You don't have the exact same problem AWS has. You don't have the exact same needs either. So when you go and try to fit service mesh or AI into every single one, this was, and to be clear, I haven't used Magika, and maybe it's and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the whole point here is that every company does it at some point. I did it as well when I was going to have AI make the word for Wordle when there's just word lists out there. And the word list is better because like you can have a hard word list and whatnot. So there's actually a better solution than having the newest fashionable thing out there. It's like wearing flip-flops when you need a work boot because the flip-flop is the newest fashion icon and you want to look the best, but you're going out on a job site. So again, I thought that this was just a perfect article that says maybe don't design by fashion. Maybe there's a better way to actually engineer and solve the solution. Now, I know that I've actually had this discussion with somebody that they pointed out to me that maybe Google has a problem internally where every single file is mislabeled. Like the extension of the file is mislabeled. And they have a lot of proprietary types of files. And to that, I said, well, the file contents would be in the right format. And they said, well, what if it's in the same format, but different content in that format made it a different file type? They had to go out on several limbs to actually defend that. And if that's Google's case, then they have a very absurdly unique case. Absurdly unique case that none of the rest of us could ever leverage this. I don't think that's true because they're really looking at, standard file types here. Like, again, it's absurd. It's absurd. Anyways, I say that. I think this is a great example of designing by fashion. Steel-toed flip-flops, the 2026 Builder's Top wish list item. Staying cool while protected. Everybody, you have to... I was about to make an inappropriate joke. My apologies. Moving on. I want a file explorer that takes 2 seconds per file I highlight. We're going to get there with the Magika file explorer. We're going to get there. Although supposedly this is pretty fast. I also want to know what it uses AI for, to be honest, because like it specifically supports very specific file types. So like, what is it using AI for? Another rant. I'm going to hold this one off. But just because you use statistics doesn't mean you're AI. This is also super duper annoying me because people will be like, now this product is AI powered. And I dig into it. And it's like, oh, we do some statistics for you. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you do some statistics. That's amazing. And they're even kind of smart statistics. Holy cow. Let's call it AI. The file explorer needs to be called the gathering. Yes. Yes, I agree. I agree. All right. Now we just talked about a Rust project. And I want to talk about something the Rust Federation is doing for us to be gratified by. And I know I will continue to make fun of the Rust Foundation probably forever and ever, even if they become really fantastic. I actually think that this is something I hope actually gains support and gains some traction. I think that this could be a really big deal to the Rust community. And so I'm really happy to see if they can actually pull it off without some sort of drama. But I'll be here for the drama just in case that happens. So today, and by today, I actually mean last Tuesday. So last Tuesday, the Rust Foundation is thrilled to announce the Rust Foundation Maintainers Fund, a new initiative to provide consistent, transparent, and long-term support for the developers who make the Rust programming language possible. This announcement marks the beginning of the Rust Foundation's Maintainer Fund, and initiatives will shape in close collaboration with the Rust Project Leadership Council and project directors to ensure funding decisions are made openly and with accountability. We'll see. Like, honestly, like I said, this sounds really cool. There's very, little information on exactly how it's going to work, exactly how these decisions are going to be made, where is the funding coming from, and those type of things. So there's light on detail, but I do expect to hear and see more from them, and I'll let you guys know when that happens. Hopefully it's good. In the months ahead, we'll define the fund's structure, secure contributions, and work with the Rust project and community to bring it to life. Now, I assume that they have some backers already. I assume that you don't make this just hoping people will flock to it. I hope that they have some backers already. If I had extra money, I would contribute some to it. I don't right now, so I'm not going to, but I would. And but I hope that they have at least a few backers and that they're trying to have those backers go out and get a little bit more funding for a pool on this. This work will build on lessons from earlier iterations of our grants and fellowships to create a lasting framework for supporting Rust maintainers. So anyways, I'm going to be watching this and seeing how it unfolds. As they said, they're going to be announcing more in the coming months. So this is like a pre-announcement. I'm tentatively excited about it. I'm hopeful about it, but we'll see. We'll see. No. Toggle bit. You're completely. Look, you cannot speak ill of them because they have not given you permission to speak ill of them. Remember, you used the words Rust, and because you use the word Rust, which is not a common English language, you actually need to seek their permission to speak ill about them. Yeah, that's why you can't. I'm just in case you forgot about previous drama. Just in case. That's why you can't speak ill of them. It has nothing to do with your emotional state. Nothing. As if you're allowed to. You know what? To be fair, nothing really bad has happened in the last year that I've seen. I could be wrong, but it's like been pretty quiet. Like they have just done nothing, which is probably pretty good for them. Like doing nothing was better than what they were doing, and so I'm proud of them. Do correct me if they've done something horrible in the last year, but I feel like we haven't had any Rust drama for like a solid year, and I just gotta say I'm proud of them. Yeah, they're gonna screw that up in just a second, but all right. Now, I know that we talked about something really exciting just maybe 2 months ago. And that was that Copilot was actually open source. We spent a stream digging through Copilot and trying to understand how it prompted the AI and how it did agents, which was actually really cool because one of my goals is to build a local agent, and it was kind of a really cool learning thing. Now, one of the things that it didn't do, and something we did more recently when we did this in another editor, so I don't know if all of you watching, but we did this in Zed. I'm sorry. So another thing that I just got completely sidetracked by myself, my own brain. I had background threads spun up and they just pulled an interrupt. Okay. So something we covered a couple months ago. Sorry about the background thread interruption there. Is that there was Copilot was released as open source. but it was just the chat. And it's something that we looked at as far as a learning experience. And then more recently, like 2 weeks ago, in Zed, we actually did inline edits using our own AI mini machine to do inline edits. And we had to actually do some edits to the Zed editor to get those all working. So we've gotten a little bit of experience from Zed on the inline edits, and we've gotten a little bit of experience and knowledge from the more... And we've gotten a little bit of experience. My brain parts are just terrible today. We've gotten a little bit more of experience from Copilot in the whole AI actor thing, and that's been pretty cool. But we haven't gotten a complete view of it. Now, that being said, that all changes November 6th, 2 days ago. In May, they announced their initial plan to make the VS Code and open source AI editor with GitHub Copilot Chat. And that's what they open sourced. But in that, and what a lot of people called out, while we learned how they did those types of things with chat, they didn't release the inline suggestions. While chat was a significant step forward, an important part of an AI functionality still remained: the inline suggestions that appear as you type. Today, we're reaching that next milestone in our journey. Inline suggestions are now open source. So now almost the complete package of the whole Copilot agent is open source for you to view. One extension, same user experience. So instead of having the inline chat be their own thing, it's now moved out into the extension. And this is actually really, really cool. I know that we've talked about how we could actually measure how effective an AI is by seeing how much code you re-edit and things like that. This is a great example of something that we could actually add support for measuring that. And it also gives you, if you want to do your own, which I know that we've worked a little bit on our own agent that would be agnostic to the actual editor that we're in, this would be a great starting point to learn. I know that I learned a lot that I know about compilers from the Roslyn compiler. When they made the Roslyn compiler open source, I got to learn a lot from that. And this is another great example. If you want to learn how AI agents for coding work, this is a great place to start learning that. So it's cool. If you want to check it out, go check it out. Oh, I shouldn't have added this text in here. 1 second. I've been highlighting text. That makes the URL bad, though. You can highlight text in a browser that way. So like if you want to highlight this right here, you can just copy that text like this. And then you just do a pound tilde. Why can't I do it? Tilde. Text equals, and then you've got to encode it. But once you URL encode it, then it will highlight it. So if you didn't know that you could do that, you can. And that's pretty cool. If there's something I want to show you all, but all right. Something we're going to be covering is the introduction of Cursor 2.0. I know that we've talked about it a little bit last week. I didn't know a whole lot about it. There is now the multi-agent support as well as cursor models themselves. So you can use Composer, which is Cursor's AI. So we'll give Composer a little bit of a run, see how it does. So we'll be testing that out after the news. Last thing in the news that I saw that I thought was interesting. Making democracy work. Fixing and simplifying Paxos. Big, long, hard word. It's early in the morning. Haven't had 2 cups of coffee, only 1. Classical state machine replication protocols, such as Paxos, rely on distinguished leader process to order commands. Unfortunately, this approach makes a leader a single point of failure and increases the latency for clients that are not co-located with it. As a response, drawbacks, Paxos introduced an alternate leaderless approach that allows replicas to order commands collaboratively. Not relying on a single leader allows the protocol to maintain non-zero throughput with up to, it's the function of crashes and any processes out of a total, one second, I gotta turn dark mode off. Flashbang in 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay. So a function of crashes of any process out of a total of n equals 2f plus 1. The total protocol furthermore allows any process to execute a command of C fast in 2 message delays. Okay, we're not going to get more into this, but what I wanted to call out here was that A, this is really cool, and you should go check it out. So I'm going to send you this link. If you don't love Paxos, you should read Paxos first. So this is Paxos, as described by Martin Fowler. And if you want the original, this is the one from Lamport. Lamport is the one that made Paxos originally. And so this is Lamport's original paper on Paxos. Now, what I want, and the reason I gave you all of this, is their original claim here is that, if we go back here, Paxos will rely on a distinguished leader process to order commands. There's actually a distinction here I want to make, and I hope that I can support these people's work, because I think that consensus is a really cool state space, that there's actually a lot more work to be done than what there currently has been done. Even with everything with blockchain, which is actually a lot of consensus, I think there's a lot more work to be done here, and I want to encourage it. But I also want, when people do make these papers, I want them to understand the original paper as well. Paxos does not rely on a distinguished leader. If you go and read the original paper, it can be done leaderless. Now, what happens is that a lot of people get into multi-Paxos. We actually have kind of stalled on this because it's just a lot of work and I haven't done it. But in Raft, we have a single Raft, and there's multi-Raft where you want to break those replications and say that not everything needs to be replicated to every machine. Paxos has the same problem. Paxos is actually fairly simple when you have all machines have all replicas. And then when you want to scale that out and have multi-Paxos, it actually gets very, very complicated. And a lot of times, to solve that complication, people do leader election because it makes Paxos simpler. Paxos-based design does not require a leader. Nothing in here requires a leader. You can leverage a leader to do things more simply. Now, one of the problems with Paxos is it's somewhat vague and open. It doesn't have, when we looked at Raft, Raft consensus, when you go and look at Raft and you look at the Raft paper, it literally explains the inputs and outputs of every command. It makes it very clear how to implement it, and it makes it very simple to implement, because all you do is you look for these boxes here, and these are literally the inputs and outputs of RPC commands. That's it. Every RPC between the client, the follower, and leader is in here as a thing to do. And they did a fantastic job of making a simple consensus mechanism. Now, obviously, you have to expand this if you want to go, you have to expand beyond this if you want to do multi-raft. This doesn't hold true anymore. There's a lot of stuff like that. Paxos, on the other hand, doesn't do any of that. It talks about what needs to happen, but not how. It doesn't get into those weeds. And so a lot of people solve it with a leader, but it doesn't have to have a leader. Nothing requires a leader in Paxos. So anyways, I gave you all the links. I recommend you all to go read those. They're really cool. If you haven't learned consensus, don't worry about it. AI will do it for you now. Actually, do worry about it because I have asked AI consensus questions. Not great at it. Not great at it. Basically, they're just going to spew. This is what this is a problem I hate with AI in its current iteration, besides everything else that I hate about it, is that it doesn't give you unique. If you looked at what was his name, or is his name? The guy who started Open AI with Sam Altman. The chief scientist guy. Not Sam Altman. No. Sam Altman is this makes me annoyed. Why am I blanking on his name? Open AI's original chief scientist. I misspelled multiple words in that. I can't pronounce his last name. I can't pronounce Ilya's last name, but we'll just go with Ilya. So if you go with their statement, basically, and this was in, I can find the exact one if you guys don't believe me, or don't believe me, but what Ilya said was basically that yes, AI is just statistics. You have a bunch of dots on here, and too many for us to really do some of the more traditional ways of plotting lines, because you have these outliers out here and whatnot. And maybe AI is doing something like some sort of really advanced linear regression. Let's just call it something like that. Maybe this line isn't even straight in AI. Like maybe it can see subtle things, and this isn't exactly what he said, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it does something like this. And all of these dots are very real world things. And what happens, or what the goal is that maybe AI gets to guess this thing right here. And this is actually a real thing that's never been done before. And this is the net new that they're hoping AI discovers. The problem is, this is not what happens. And I actually think that this is provable that this is not what happens. So this is something that classical statistical analysis does all the time. But there is one problem. If you noticed, almost none of these points actually fall on the line, which means that while this statistical analysis gives you a good, like you could do this with home prices, while this gives you a good idea, almost never is it actually correct. Almost never is it actually correct. It's just a really good first guess, right? It gets you in the ballpark. So that's the first problem with that. But the second problem is that all of our AI is trained. All of our AI is trained on this data right here. So all of the data is trained on this data right here. And the thing is, when you try to ask it about consensus, it doesn't try to do this. It doesn't try to do this. It gives you this. It gives you Paxos. It gives you X. It gives you Y. And we've actually worked very hard to do this because when it hallucinates, it's giving you something out here. It's giving you something over here. It's giving you something out here. Those are the hallucinations. And we've worked really hard to get rid of those hallucinations, which means we sterilize the one possibility of it doing this, and we keep it solely in the box. So our current GPTs are neutered in such a way that to make them useful, they have to stay in the box. I have never seen ChatGPT give me something that's not solidly in the box that I couldn't find with a Google search. Now, maybe it found it faster. Maybe it condensed it for me. Like, those are cool things in and of themselves. And I'm not going to argue whether it's good or bad for society or anything. Like, that's a viable thing. But it never does this by design. It can't do this. And when you take those safeguards off and you dismantle this box so OpenAI can think outside the box, it hallucinates the crap out of things and it's just not usable. So anyways, that's just an observation I've been having. I don't remember what made me go on this rant, but it was there. You were right, Russell. You were right. I've liked Ilya a lot. As far as like when he would speak, he would be like, yeah, it's just advanced statistical analysis. And our hope is that we can get so good. Now, I obviously disagree with some of those conjectures, but like, at least he's not hiding what it is in its fact at its core. So, anyways, but that being said, like, I don't know. You were right. I don't remember what got me on this rant. It was a rant. And there you have it. There you have it. I want to go. I want to have a talk with him just to learn to pronounce his name. I don't even think I pronounced his first name correct. Ilya. It could be correct. Struxgever. Gever. I'm glad they gave me the Hebrew pronunciation guide there. That actually cleared stuff up for sure. We'll just go with Ilya. We will just go with Ilya. All right, let's go ahead and open a folder. We are going to try some of the agent stuff. We're going to try Composer. One of the interesting things that they did is you can do it like, this is just going to send the cost through the roof. Just through the roof. But you could do it with multiple ones, and like you can do it with multiple models. So like you can do this will do it with Sonnet 4.5, ChatGPT 5, and Composer twice. And you will see okay, we'll do it Composer once. Okay, we're going to do it like this. This is interesting. I think that actually this is going to be really interesting for the AI games. I'm going to leverage this in the AI games, I think. Yeah. So let me update my titles. I think we're done. We can turn some music on. Did anybody else see anything in the news that I missed? Did I miss anything? I'm not sure the difference between work tree and local. Oh, if I did local, it would actually be doing it to the local one instead of making like a branch in a working tree, I think. But if you did local, you wouldn't be able to. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say if you did local, you wouldn't be able to do multiple ones. Okay, that makes sense, and it removes that. Cool. All right. And then you're supposedly supposed to be able to like have multiple ones going. This is just gonna blow through credits. Like this, credits are gonna be gone. Scott, how are you doing? Also, thank you for the sub, Scott. Really didn't have to, and I super appreciate it. How are you doing? All right, what are we doing here? Oh, yeah, this is the AI arena. Does this even build right now? No, let's do this. Oh, can we do so they don't support commands. We can't do like @plan here. All right, well, we're going to create a command for plan. Plan the requested feature. Let's see. Plan the requested feature. Requesting needed information from the user and store the accepted plan in plans plan name .md. Okay. Let's get rid of all this. There we go. Plan to support Olama as an AI agent. So we'll see the different plans created. You got the coffee computer working? What did you do? Did you just put the whole thing in rice? Rice is my go-to. I feel like it's not great, but it's kind of my go-to. What the crap? Why does it want to make that Like, what the garbage? Okay, so Sonnet 5 kind of failed. Okay, so how do you perceive... okay, so Sonnet 4 just kind of already crapped the bed. Let's see what Composer's wanting to do. Checking for a plans directory and researching Olama API details. Oh, okay. Auto search the web. Should we do that? No, we're not going to do that. This seems pretty good so far. This is okay here. Olama support. Agent support should be added to play as an agent in the AI arena. Stripping down and brushing with alcohol is the best way to stop corrosion. So, my problem, I haven't actually done this with a whole lot. The few things that I have done it with are things that I really wouldn't want to take apart, right? Like, stripping it down sounds good until you're like, well, it's my phone. So like that means like ungluing it, right? It's not been my phone. The only thing that I've done is, actually I haven't done anything in Rice for a very long time. I tend to avoid getting stuff in water. That's not supposed to be. I didn't say I'd rather. Just the likelihood of me successfully putting it back together is maybe bad. I'd rather it not have gotten wet in the first place, right? Olama agent support should be added to play as an agent in the AI arena. You can follow the other examples. Olama will be serving models on a network attached computer. Are there existing AI we should mirror? No need to do anything with models. We just want the ability to use Olama remotely. Are there existing AI agents we should mirror? I already answered that. For languages, frameworks, or libraries we must use or avoid. you should prefer already in use libraries. This is where slop squatting is going to get you in trouble. New word, do not call it slop squatting. That's just, it is just terrible. And any libraries with known corrupted supply chains. Any deadlines? Oh yeah, lots of deadlines. Deadline is today. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Maybe we will let it search the web. Oh my gosh. It's gonna make me... okay, oh, is this their working directory? Their working tree? I don't know exactly how that works. I would need to... Is that what it's doing here, though? Like, why did all of them decide to make a weird folder? That shouldn't be in like... That's not how it works, is it? It's taking like feet, like it's in work tree, feet, Olama, prep, RW, R5. So like that is the last part of the work tree, but is it just picking it up? Like, why did all of them pick up the work tree and decide to put it in the folder path? Like, every single one of them did this. Work tree, see? Why is it doing this? Why did all of them do it? Like, now my question is this like the right thing to do? And then it's gonna merge it when it gets back and it's gonna take away this folder? I'm just gonna run it and we're gonna see. Like, I don't understand. Maybe my understanding is wrong. So I'm just going to do this and... Actually, I have said over and over again, thanks EU, I would like a phone without a USB port. Do the magnetic charge ports on the outside? And have zero plug-in things. Ports. That's what I wanted to say. Ports. Have zero ports to the outside. Seal the crap out of that phone. Like, make the charge cable purely charged. No data. That's what I want. A pure charge cable. Do I have to do this? I did this, right? Yeah. Estimated effort 4 to 6 hours? It's gonna take you 4 to 6 hours? Holy crap. Okay, but we should have a plan here. Can I open them side by side? No, I want them side by side. It does not appear side by side is supported here. Yeah, Russell, I think they should just remove all the ports. Just wireless charging. Wireless charging and wireless audio. Like, I will Bluetooth or Wi-Fi download anything. With my brain implant, I don't need a speaker. Just audio, pump the audio directly into my brain. Okay, let's actually review these. We're gonna go with Sonnet first. Add support for as an agent provider in the AI Arena project. Ollama is a tool for running large language models. Goals: enable AI Arena to use locally hosted Ollama models as games play. I want Ollama to support. I want to support Ollama via their API so that Ollama can run on a different device. AKA network attached Ollama. NAO, network attached Ollama. Okay, let's see. You got Wordle in one? All right. Well, we'll play a little Ollama, or we'll play a little Ollama. We'll play a little Wordle when I go to make a cup of tea. Okay, so that updated to that. Port network attached Ollama servers was configured, maintain consistency. Why did it just? Okay. Support key Ollama features, model selection, temperature control, and JS provide flexible configuration. Handle, yep. Architecture. New file, update to expose the Ollama module. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to use the chat endpoint. So that's actually one thing that I need to learn more about. There's like chat conversation. There's a couple different endpoints that you can use. And when I was playing around with getting it to work with inline completions in Zed, the agent would use chat most of the time, and the inline completions use conversation endpoints. I'm not entirely sure exactly what's where, why, when, how, but that's what I was noticing. There was a couple different endpoints that were getting leveraged here. So it's not using a library. It's literally just making the requests. Okay? So it's going to just make the Ollama request. Kind of cool, but I'd also prefer to use a library. Let's see what this one does. Oh, we got side by side now. Thank you very much. Okay, a lot of the same stuff here. Extend configuration service, add Olama to the agent kind. Okay, yeah. Implement Olama. One thing I liked about the Sonnet was this kind of high-level overview of the files they were going to touch, or the files that they were going to change. You know, new file, existing. These were the ones that were going to get changed. I thought that was cool. Proposed implementation steps, inspect agent.ri, extend configuration service, that's correct. Implement Olama agent. Okay, yeah, this is following the source agent's Olama. Ooh. So GPT-5 Codex had tests. I did not see any test strategy in here. Maybe I didn't get far enough. Oh, we did. We're there is sub. We need a test game to run. Maybe that's what we'll build next week, is just finish the tic-tac-toe game. Okay, so Sonnet is definitely a lot longer. Like, Sonnet's plan is in the 500 lines. Okay. Let's see what Composer did. I want to be able to connect to Olama over the network. Network attached Olama. Okay, so this did kind of like what the Sonnet did with like the file structure. So we have a new file with the Olama agent with the different types of things that it should be able to edit. That's just based off of what's currently there. Cool. Update agent file module. Right, it's going to expose it. Update agent building logic. I actually like these plans. Base URL configuration. Okay. Default fallback of localhost. Good. Dependencies. So it's also not going to use... All right, question here. Rig core. Does rig core support Olama? Where does it list? Okay. That's supported integrations. Which where does it list the I just want all right, so right now it just does OpenAI, Gemini, and Anthropic. Let's see if there's anything else. Crates.io. Olama. That's a 0.0.1 2 years ago. Ooh. Are they just name squatting? They're probably just name squatting. Supports 11 providers. Anthropic is complex. Where's Olama? Let's ask it to use LLM connector for all of these. Can we use... Can we use... Yep, search the web, go for it. Oh, you already updated yours. GPT-5 doesn't search the web nearly as much as the other ones does. Now, to be fair, no, GPT-5 is a thinking model. It's Composer that's not a thinking model. Composer is not a thinking model, right? Okay. I think Composer is a thinking model. Just FYI, I think that they said it's a thinking model. Which really just means it prompts itself. It's not actually... I hate the term thinking model. I guess it depends on what you think thinking is. I'm auto searching the web. This is too painful. Go for it. Oh, that's super. I mean, it's not super scary with what I'm doing, but auto searching the web seems. I'm just gonna hurt my elbow clicking. Search the web. Let's look at what Codex did. It got back fastest. It's still using request. Okay, so it sees it as a security issue. Isn't in the dependencies stack today. No new dependencies. Did I say no new dependencies? I feel like I said prefer if we have a dependency. Okay. I can confirm with extreme confirmation that is of utmost quality as it was designed by Sonnet 4.5. It changed it to leverage the trusted LLM connector. Nothing about the quip about Sonnet. I was hoping that that would... Pinky is just talking with your other personalities in your head. That's what I always consider thinking. Is just talk to the other people. They're already talking to you. I mean, they're already there talking to you. Maybe that's why streaming is so much work. It's like streaming is almost an act of multiple personalities. Like while trying to do something. You know, I have... Yeah. Interesting. They argue too much. Oh, dear. All right. So this stayed mostly the same. I just want to see when it was like... This is mostly the same. Looks fine. I don't know what the default model should be. I'll let it pick. Is Sonnet still going? Oh gosh. We're not gonna call it Sonnet anymore. We're gonna call it Slonic. I couldn't come up with a better like slow variant of Sonnet. Slownet. We'll call it Slownet. Oh wait. Why does it say continue? No, it's still searching. Slownet has the slowest internet. All right, we're gonna have okay. Wait, did it make steps like Oh, that's a lot of questions for me. I don't want questions. All right, here we go. Okay. Please implement the steps you have provided. Make one commit for each step and ensure it is tested the best you can. Okay, I just actually want to copy this. I want to make sure I'm saying the same thing to each one. Boom. Slownet is slow. Like, seriously. You guys thought my internet was bad? You have not had Slownet's internet. Oh, look, it puts a little exclamation point. I think it's waiting on... Yeah, I was going to say, look, this tells me it's waiting on me. And I could really be doing more than two, just as one. But yeah, anyways. Checking the LM connector, create documentation. Why are you... I can allow CD. I don't care about CD. Sure, why are you... Oh, it's just checking to see if it exists. Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, allow CD. Go for it. You guys can CD around all over the place. So at this point, I could go off to... Is this the new way of programming? This feels really gross to me, just FYI. Maybe it will feel better in the future. You know, anytime you do something new, it feels weird and awkward. But this... okay, let's see. What are we trying to do here? Git add? Yeah. You can git add. Go for it. Knock your set. Which? Why are we witching? Which cargo and cargo version. You don't need to run which. You need new internet. Who's bringing up Python in the Python doesn't get a voice. You have a Rust voice that says "Get it right the first time, you idiot." I am so glad you put "you idiot" in there. That's the passive Rust voice. Oh, let's see. And let's see. Type car. What are we doing? Why did we need to witch cargo? We had an analyzing Rust up proxy error. What is going on? Composer is already done. It's cool that it's keeping track of the number of to-dos that it has. Kind of cool. Okay. Verify all commits were created correctly. What are we doing? Okay. So this is okay. I thought I was back on Codex. Sorry. It's actually made the commits and it just is checking that there was 6. Okay. That's a little weird. Okay. Cool. Oh no. Codex, I don't know what you've done, my friend. I wish I could see the execution. Oh. Oh, I do know what this is. What was this? I have fixed this, right? We fixed this in the past. Okay, this isn't Codex's fault. We got to fix this again. Maybe the update. Cursor Rust error unknown proxy name. I have had this problem before. It's so weird that this one didn't have it and this one didn't have it. Well, this one hasn't. I think this one died, honestly. But, you know, like, it's so weird that you get it randomly. So one agent didn't have the problem. Let's see if we can't get Cursor just... So I probably fixed it like I don't know, the first agent. One of the agent doesn't have it, one does. And if I say if I remember correctly, did I fix this doing like the did I set like my Zhush RC here? Yeah. That's what I did. And for some reason, the agents here are running some other way. So we just need to figure out where the agents are running so we can unset them then there as well, right? Let's try that. What do I search for though? So there's the cursor. What? It's so weird. This is cursor 2. Like, I hate it when marketing uses numbers. Like, marketing used numbers for this. This is cursor 2, but it's not actually cursor 2. Let's actually do like an about. Where's the about? I hate this. Cursor 2.0.69, but it's actually cursor 1.0. Like, okay, let's see. Man, I get snarky when I fix things like this. Maybe I need to do this for the agent. Let's open up our settings file. Thanks, Russell, for joining. Sorry you missed the front door conversation. And go see yourself out your brand new front door. Hopefully it's a wonderful front door. Can I just edit these? I just want to... How do I just open my settings file? Because it's in the agent. Okay, so let's see. Is there a way to give some like context to the running agent? I was hoping there was like some... I need to... I mean, I can just have it do it every single time. It's kind of dumb though. It got the context of this one all screwed up. Like this one's never going. The other thing I've learned with AI is like, since this one's context is screwed, it's screwed. Like it's never going to recover from this, because when it passes in all this context for this chat, right? And that context is just in a bad spot. This one just didn't finish. This one at least has something. How do I review them all? Is this like the only way right here? Okay, so we have LM connector. We added 5 changes to this. This is just including the llama. Cool. Added it agent kind. Is this the new? Okay, build agent. Yeah. This is gross. Why didn't they just put it into the configs like it should be? But that's okay. Okay, and this is just the build agents. Okay. That looks fine. Some things to update and tweak. This is where like we don't track very much, is like, even if we accepted this, how much of it did we go back and tweak before we actually made a PR? That's the type of stuff that I would really love to see tracked. This is interesting. Let's see. This is just copied from the other one, right? This is like some really base stuff. We haven't really tuned it a whole lot. Like, respond only with strict JSON matching. The expected schema do not include any text outside of JSON. You know, we're trying to be. We're gonna have to tweak that, but this is all basically just copy and paste. That being said, if it is copy and paste, maybe we should centralize this some way. Because the other thing that would be cool is to be able to make the prompt actually an option too, like, so that when we change it, we can change it like per AI and stuff. That's something we need to do. Not its fault, because again, it's not doing something out here. It's just following what it's seen. Again, okay. So this is some testing. Let's see. This is like an integration test, really. We should group these tests outside. All of these will need like integration testing. And we should like test some command or something. Now, did this apply it to the working tree? So now if I go here, yeah, it applied it out of the working tree. Okay. Oh, I see. So they make some sub. Okay, I need to get on board with like what the working tree is. That's a little bit weird. Let's see how much I actually spent here. Just logging in. Give me a second. All right. Let's see. Usage. Oh no, they changed this on me. So today we used, for just the little bit that we did $1.50. Sonnet was the most expensive thing. It means they're charging fairly little for Composer. That's interesting. Interesting. Well, I did fairly well in our little test here. I realized it wasn't a great test because there was like definitely some like, this wasn't a great test because this one got kicked. It got kicked, and it wasn't a fair comparison. And I don't know what happened with this one. It also just decided to do nothing. So not a, this was okay. This interface is not great. This interface is not great. It's very hard to like review them side by side. I'd love to be able to like review the plans when we were making the plans to review them side by side. It wasn't really possible to do that. So I didn't love that, but it was okay. I don't know why it says 10 days. I mean, we did it today. There's definitely some bugs here. Definitely some bugs. But anyways, that is Cursor 2.0. I need to head out. I can't do too much with the keyboard today. So I think I'm just going to call that for right now. Thanks everybody for joining. Hopefully you learned something. Or if not, learn what not to do, which is still learning something. Thanks everybody for joining. It was good to have you out. We'll get some of this stuff done. And yeah, looking forward to the AI games later this year. That should be fantastic. Yeah, I am actually looking forward to the AI games. We're going to do a little bit more than we normally do, and it's going to be awesome. As long as we finish this. But honestly, we're really close to having the base stuff finished. It's not too complicated. Obviously, it'd be better to have like chess and checkers and more games, but like just a couple simple games will be a really great start. It also will give people something to work towards for next year if they'd like to make their own AI to try to win at the AI games and then have like a prize for it. I think that would be super cool. So yeah, that's definitely next year-ish. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to get going. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your support. Thanks for hanging out and chatting. And I'll see you all